when I've been talking about Mutahar lately, I've been pretty critical. I've been talking about him in a disparaging way. But today, I'm going to give him some props. Not just because I'm very, very fair, but because Mutahar shattered this weirdo so hard it took him 2 years to respond. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure the only reason he responded even after that long was because Mutahar was in hot water due to his Nux Taku associations. It was right around the time when he responded, which is pretty old because nobody covered it. Not a single person covered it that I've seen. And I did try to cover it earlier, but the recording got messed up, and I didn't want to just try to repeat it or whatever, go from memory. It's been long enough. I can do it fresh. But so you see, this guy Glink, he was one of these society guys. His most popular videos are stuff like the dark reality of Los Angeles, the golden age of the internet is over, the cam girl invasion of Twitch, incels, the internet's most hated virgins, the lonely fans of OnlyFans. But lately, his videos have not been doing quite so well. His last one got 10K, one before that 1.3K views, and that's on a channel with almost 400,000 subs. The two before that were members only. This one did pretty well, to be fair, 200,000 views. And then before that, 8K, 8K, 17, 8. Not great, not great. And around the time that he started slipping in relevancy, this is the stuff that he was talking about. Here you'll see, really, at the time, it didn't look so as bad. But now this is really not a Discord call that you want to be in with Destiny and Mr. Girl. Mr. Girl is the cuties guy, in case you don't know.
Okay, go.
And that is where the psychedelic view comes in, because
oh god,
a big problem that we're
yes, exactly, Mr. Girl. Oh god, this one of these psychedelic guys is pretty sure what happened is he did some psychedelics and then thought he figured out the world. That's the perception that I get.
We're facing is one of culture and the failure of culture to adapt to the changing rate of technology. And whether this is a culture that's informed by science or religion or whatever it may be, we have to be adaptable as humans. And to do that,
Right.
we have to be able to step outside the boundaries of cultural conditioning and of linguistic...
I would like to ask a question.
Okay, can I just finish real quick?
Yeah.
And to do that, what the psychedelic experience provides is a sort of cultural relativism where you are...
I mean, that was probably enough of that. I'll show you one more snippet.
So I want to know, are Steven and I helping you kind of work through your beliefs here, or are you actually arguing with me?
I'm making a case for the psychedelic point of view, and if you don't agree with this scientism point of view, that's fine. But my point is that point of view has driven our culture and our modern society to the brink of extinction, and that is a fact. If anything is a fact, I mean, science is the...
That's not a...
Yeah, we're on the brink of extinction because we don't use the psychedelic view enough. I don't know. So this guy released a trailer for an event that he wanted to hold, and remember, this is the society guy. He's got lots of criticism of what our society has devolved into with all of the prawn and this sort of stuff.
There is a revolution upon us, an unseen movement of artists, creators, and engineers brewing in the shadows, the far corners of the internet.
And I'm pretty sure most of these he just took from somewhere else. I could be wrong. A lot of this seems like almost stock footage or something that he just put in his trailer.
On their own, these individuals are creating great content, but together, these beacons of light can form a wave, and they will blossom into something beautiful, something that can be shown to the world. If only it had a stage. Lightwave is that stage.
Yeah, he advertised Destiny there. You know, he was hanging out with him earlier before, but pretty sure once people saw this trailer and reacted to it, had an idea of what this event was going to be, Destiny decided he was going to back out. I'm pretty sure he just sat at home and streamed instead of going to this event he said that he would go to do a panel for. And I don't think he was the only one to do that. I think other people did that as well.
Through the power of the internet. Coming to you live through the power of the internet. Boogie 2988. He's gonna be there. Boogie's gonna be there.
I think that one was a joke. I don't think Boogie was ever actually supposed to be there. So that trailer comes out and he runs his event and it doesn't go so well. Mutahar makes this video, the YouTube disaster you've never heard of, gets 630,000 views, and Glink could not handle it. He had a real hard time with that. We don't even need to get into his video because I mean you can see kind of from that trailer, it's like, okay, so it's just like a pretty regular looking festival, it seems like, but you're adding debates to it and stuff. And you know, he just has like a bunch of half-dressed women and looks like people are doing drugs, drinking alcohol, that sort of stuff there. It's like, okay, I'm not sure what your brand is anymore other than psychedelics. So this was 6 months ago that he uploaded this, and the Mutahar video, see, 2 years ago. So it took him quite a while to build up the courage to respond to this video.
Ah, what a nice day. Beautiful, sunny. The only thing that could make it better would be listening to some negative XP on the drive.
Talks about video games.
Man, I can't believe we brought him out to Austin. That was like a dream come true. Can't believe it's been 2 years since Lightwave. Good times. It's also been 2 years since that video. I guess not everyone saw it that way. But you know, now that the dust has settled, maybe it's finally time.
So, I mean, to me, that comes across as a guy who's pretty broken up about it. Like, if you let this much time pass without responding, just move on, man. Just move on. You can't respond 2 years later unless you have like a nuclear response, something that's gonna alter everybody's perception of how things went down. Because otherwise, it just looks like cope, especially when you wait till the person that made a video about you is in some other controversy.
Hey everybody, how's it going? There are 3 major points I'm going to cover with this video. First, I'm going to go over Ordinary Gamers' video and show you how through his own words and his own actions in his video, he's proven himself to be dishonest and uncredible despite claiming to be some sort of objective reporter. Secondly, I'm going to explain the true story behind Lightwave, or really just the bullet points of what it was, how it came to be, and what actually happened at the event. Third, and finally, towards the end of this video, I'm going to explain why all this matters now, about 2 years later, and what I've learned from this experience. Although
I feel like you should start with that. Why? Why should we care? It's 2 years later.
it's 40 minutes long, there's not actually a whole lot of substance in Ordinary Gamer's video. But, out of respect for you, the viewer, I've boiled down his video to only the most essential points, and pretty soon we're just going to get through all of the claims and all of the questions he brought up. But before we even get to the content of the video itself, one of the most important things is actually the title and thumbnail. Now, couple that with...
Is that really one of the most important things? The part of the video that's supposed to be like attention grabbing and probably a little bit hyperbolic or over dramatic? If that's your most important thing, is you want to go after the thumbnail and title, that is not a good sign for your argument. All right.
With this key statement that Ordinary Gamers makes about halfway through the video.
A few people in various Discord communities caught wind that I was going to be making a video, and more so a hit piece on this event. Now, on a personal level, I consider that shit really offensive because I don't make hit pieces. I research and I make the most
Well, yeah, Mutahar, you don't even do drama, right? You're done with drama. You're above it.
objective video and take that I can, and I leave all those judgments up to you, the viewer. Look, obviously there's a story to these videos, but I want these videos to be more of a repository of information.
In his own words, this video is not a hit piece. It's an objective sort of journalistic report, and that means that this title thumbnail
Does he say journalistic or just that it wasn't a hit piece? Like he wasn't to me, hit piece, the implication is like you're trying to take somebody down or really make them look bad. So just because you're not doing a hit piece doesn't mean you think you're being journalistic. Maybe he said it and I missed it. I don't think he did.
which says that this was a disaster and that it was a fake festival, the content of the video should substantiate that claim, given that it's not a hit piece. Well,
No, the title and thumbnail should draw people in, and the content of the video should be close enough so that people don't feel disappointed or misled. But no, I'm not expecting Mutahar to do a video about how this festival didn't actually exist. It was fake. They were all mannequins. Like, no, I'm not expecting anything like that. I'm expecting, oh, this festival probably didn't go very well.
I'm ready to have these things proven right by the video. Let's take a look.
Oh, did YouTube Autoplay bring you here? Well, before you run away, let me remind you of an amazing new shoe brand called Vessi, ladies and gentlemen. Vessi is a new...
Well, at least he knows his audience. So the first 2 minutes are just this Chinese shoe company advertisement.
A few weeks ago, I was in California having a good old Christian Minecraft server of a time with some close friends, and I was attending VidCon.
The next minute and a half of the video is Ordinary Gamers explaining that he was hanging out at VidCon getting sloshed with his friends.
Entire weekend, I was incredibly sloshed to remember the entire thing. And as far as the convention went, I think I showed up for like 20 minutes because they had this Fall Guys stand, and I absolutely had to be there right present to take a photo with it. And I guess today the question can be, can and should YouTubers run events?
So this question is posed about 3 minutes and 30 seconds into Ordinary Gamers video. Can and should YouTubers run events? And this takes a very journalistic, very objective, open-ended tone to the video. So far it seems professional.
By now, I'm sure some of you have heard about the massive event known as Lightwave, a
festival held in Austin, Texas, run by the YouTuber Glink, most notably known for documentaries in the Super Smash community, criticism of OnlyFans, and discovering of homeless people who live in Skid Row. And believe it or not, to grace the influencer scene. Just
watching the trailer itself is a complete fever dream. It starts with quick cuts and establishes itself as a convergence of artists and engineers.
The trailer is indeed a fever dream, and that was the intention. I wanted it to be kind of crazy. I wanted it to be unpredictable and a little bit ambiguous. And most of the footage from the trailer is stuff I filmed myself, so it's not like...
Oh, okay. I thought a decent amount of it looked like stock footage, but if he's saying he filmed it himself, that's my bad.
Like I was completely making these things up. These were different events that I'd gone to, that I based the planning of Lightwave. Did it backfire? In some ways, a little bit, but in other ways, it was successful, and I'll be explaining that as we get to more of the content of the event.
Yeah, so I'd really like to hear how it was successful. I've not heard anything about that trailer event being successful.
Or do something basic like getting, your shared space. Where there are
so then he's like talking about my business card and just some of the more marketing related to the event. And we're at this point almost 10 minutes in, and so far there's been no indication that the event is a disaster or fake.
It was told to the online...
Is that actually all you have? Just that he said it was a disaster and fake? And it wasn't literally a fake disaster?
Audience, basically you and me watching right now, who weren't in Austin at all, that this event was to be streamed live on YouTube, Odyssey, Rokefin, right? That's where we were going to watch the event. So we were never ever given a date whatsoever by Greg, and it was supposed to be meant that...
Okay, he misspoke here. I gave a date, I didn't give an address. And that's something I could talk about more at length later, but the short, I was a little bit concerned with guests like Destiny and Negative XP, who I had heard had this kind of political controversy and some disruptors at previous events. And remember, this was right shortly after restrictions from COVID were lifted, and the political tensions were still somewhat high. And I was just, I don't know, maybe paranoid, maybe just overly concerned, but I really wanted to limit the amount of random people that would find out about this and show up from an online audience. Maybe that's my bad. Maybe I should have trusted my audience more. I should have been more transparent, but It wasn't disrupted, but
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like a bit much. I know people like Nick Fuentes have to do stuff like that. Wait until the day of to give people the address. I don't I don't think you were at the level where you needed to do that. I don't think you're quite that controversial or your guests, at the time. Maybe if you did it today, people might be upset enough at Destiny to do something like that, but I don't know even then.
maybe after the fact it was defamed.
The date that Greg picked to run this live stream ended up being the weekend of VidCon, right? The weekend where most of the social media personalities, if they had to go out to a convention from all over the world, were going to be in Los Angeles, California.
So I guess every social media influencer and every creator online is going to be in Los Angeles, California for VidCon. If they make videos, if they're an actor, if they have any influence at all, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be in Anaheim, California for VidCon.
I mean, that is just straight up not what he said. He said if they're going to LA for a convention or an event, they're going to be going to VidCon, which is just objectively true, right? They're not like more people went to LA to go to VidCon than for Lightwave, just straight up. So man, I don't remember how weak his points were. Is all of his stuff like this where he has to blow up what Mutahar says be absurdly literal or take it in the worst way possible or misinterpret it just so he can have a minor point? It's not looking good, Glink. Not looking good.
Woo! VidCon 2025, let's go! VidCon 2026, let's go! Nobody gives a fuck about VidCon. Every time he mentions VidCon, it's a complete red herring. It has nothing to do with other events, okay? It's VidCon, man.
I ended up coming
Yeah, no. Again, he just said if somebody was going to go to LA for an event that weekend, probably for VidCon. That was what he said.
back home to my house just to watch this thing on the big screen. Now at this point, all of our friends were just sitting on the couch watching this whole thing, and I realized that I was personally in the wrong place.
Okay, so hold up. Ordinary Gamers is in his house with his friends, and on the big screen, they have Lightwave that I stream from my channel.
Was that Louis Rossman? Okay. Some people still did show up.
So they not only were they aware of this event, they were prepared, they were glued to the TV screen watching it. Okay, well, that's sounds like he's pretty dedicated, sounds like he's pretty invested.
I should have dragged my engineer ass all the way to Austin, Texas to attend the meeting of the minds. This is a fucking tragedy.
Well, because Ordinary Gamers made up his mind in the first panel that the event is a tragedy, he's now going to convince his viewers for the next 40 minutes that it is a tragedy. Let's see how he does.
A missed opportunity, and so I just resorted to watching the YouTube live stream. And after about wasting an hour with my friends, thankfully, we all made brief appearances in the 8-hour affair. Thanks again to Prox, by the way.
Okay, so wait. This video really took a turn, though, because we started off with, should YouTubers run events? And now it's at the camera of my event, that's streaming the event, is being obscured by a phone that shows Ordinary Gamers and his friend at VidCon. And that's...
Thank you for putting us up there.
In the video where he's claiming that the event was a tragedy. Like, maybe he wanted it to be a tragedy. That's what I'm getting from this.
Or maybe his point is just that you should have foreseen people doing that if you have a camera set up like that, right? By the time the Shia LaBeouf stuff happened or whatever, like, you should understand, if there's a camera that's streaming something and people can mess with it, they probably will. Seems like maybe that was his point.
Lightwave, it consisted of 4 panels. Right to Repair with guest Louis Rossman, who actually did show up, did a speech, and overall had an actual interesting panel. Louis is a great content.
Now, this is where things get really weird, because I've learned through this video that to some YouTubers, there's a feature where they can actually go back, edit videos, and add parts to published videos. I mean, everyone can trim parts away, but some YouTubers can actually add edited parts to their video, and this is one of them. Because in the original video, Ordinary Gamers got something wrong about Louis Rossmann being paid $1 million by a tech investor to come to the event. Let me just clarify my extent of being involved with this tech investor and Louis Rossmann. It's pretty simple. I met this tech investor through my past roommate, the Kino Corner, and he runs this company where he gives out grants to people who have open source tech ideas. Now, I didn't have an open source tech idea, but I had an idea to host an event and bring creators because there's a lack of interesting and organic places to hang out and collaborate with other creators. And this tech investor, out of respect, he probably doesn't want his name brought up, but he was into the idea. He gave me $25,000 as a blank check to host this event. And then after the trailer and some of the confusing responses to the trailer, his company decided to just pull out and disassociate from the event, but I still had the budget to work with. Louis Rossmann.
So a company that gave you 25 grand for this event, even after they gave you the money, and once they saw the trailer, like, hey, we don't want anything to do with this. You didn't have to give the money back. We're just going to cut our losses and remove ourselves from the situation. But it was not a disaster. Don't you dare say it was a disaster, Mutahar.
Left a comment on the video trailer, and he sounded a little bit confused himself. So I reached out to him via email, and I let him know that I had every intention of bringing him out to do some panels and to take care of his flight and accommodation.
This is what he had to say to Louis Rossmann. I included you in the trailer with a big question mark and a low-quality JPEG image as a goof, but I would be honored to have you attend this event I'm hosting in Austin, Texas next week called Lightwave. What is Lightwave? It's far too common for big influencers to sell out to corporate-friendly politics and content, while the individuals making interesting content are sequestered to their own corners of the internet, where they grow a niche community of followers that has little to no interaction with other bubbles of community. Lightwave brings together artists and engineers, local and distant, to one meeting point, where people that envision a future of autonomy, free expression, and meaningful connections can gather. Okay. So he just put Louis Rossmann in the trailer the question mark in hopes that maybe he would come, and then either Louis reached out and was like, wait, am I supposed to be here? or he just reached out and tried to get him to come.
And he was down. So he ended up coming to the event. He ended up having a good time. And eventually he ended up moving his business from New York to Austin. And he did meet the investor while in Austin. So there was no involvement, no talk of $1 million being exchanged anywhere along that. Even if Rossmann, took $1 million from this investor, that's not selling out. That's just a business deal. That's just moving your business from New York to somewhere new, to Texas, which is where it still operates today. So yeah, that was.
And Louis Rossmann, I'm pretty sure he has like an actual tech repair company, not just the way, some YouTubers run their YouTube channel as a company or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he fixes electronics and stuff and has multiple employees that do that.
That's how Lightwave got started, and that's how I contacted Rossmann, and pretty much all the other panelists were the same way.
Content can go anywhere else. YouTube can kick you off at any moment. Obviously, that's the deal you make when you actually create an account here. Unless you know how to learn and diversify your platforms and brand, you have no one to blame but yourself. Again, did you really need a whole panel to tell you that? Didn't think so.
Hey, don't like YouTube? Use another website.
Finally, the last panel was, are there any political solutions? Arguably, this was the most fucking boring panel of them all. People thought...
Well, that's a shame, Ordinary Gamers, that you didn't like the panel, and, I wish it could have been better for your tastes, but hey, elsewhere on YouTube, that exact same panel has 31K views, and some of the comments sound positive. People are saying, absolutely, the crossover we didn't know we needed. I would never thought I would see Curtis Yarvin along with Louis Rossmann. Wow, the world really is a lot smaller than you think. So some people are enjoying it. I'm sorry you didn't, but yeah, still no disaster or fake festival, just more of your opinion.
Point that he could.
And according to Prox...
Right. I mean, so your point is, no, there's no way it could be a disaster. One of the clips got 30K views. I mean, sure, that's not nothing, but it's not a very strong point either.
It may have seemed like Destiny could have flipped on a stream and realized maybe it wasn't worth showing up, even though that apparently he was in fact in Austin for the day one of Lightwave stream.
Destiny was in Austin when this was going.
Oh, wait, that's even worse. So he actually was in Austin at the time and didn't go. I thought he was at home.
on, and he cut the cord. I think he might have seen.
Well, that's just a really shitty thing to do, and yeah, it makes me lose a lot of respect for Destiny.
Between all these
Well, don't have to worry about that now. I would imagine if you're keeping up, you've lost all your respect for Destiny.
panels, there were various intermissions, numerous performances filmed at completely brain-dead angles, and many, and I mean many, shots of empty chairs.
That shot of empty chairs taken at the start of the event, and the brain-dead shot of musical performances, was by Prox, the same person who showed his phone and a picture of Ordinary Gamers. So, you know, I don't even know what to say to that. That's just
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say to that either, but these still seem like points against you, right? If people lived in Austin, they were considering maybe going to this thing, and then they see that shot of all the empty chairs, pretty sure that would make it easy for them to go, oh, all right, well, I'm not going. But not a disaster. Not a disaster.
kind of sums it all up, doesn't it?
Roughly after I woke up hours later, after a night of bar hopping with the boys, I was excited to see day 2. Was it going to be streamed? Only to realize it never ever happened. According to Greg, this was a recorded affair for a documentary he'll be releasing at some point in the near future.
I have all the footage from the day 2 thing. That wasn't streamed, but that's going to be in the...
When I don't stream something, it becomes more private, and just the people who are there actually physically can appreciate it, or if they don't appreciate it, they can let me know. But to have the online sort of
Did they let you know that, Glink, that they didn't appreciate it?
peanut gallery every time, yeah, it's not always very pleasant, and I want to bridge that gap so that people online and in real life can both enjoy and appreciate something, but it's not easy to do, and you know, this is one reason why.
You know, and I know, the story doesn't even come close to ending there. Because now it's time to burrow, twist the knife in, and see what Lightwave actually was about. Alright, actually what it could have been, what it seems to be about.
Wow, that's some... This is great objective reporting, Ordinary Gamers. You're totally not a hit piece at all. I can't see why anyone would think this... How?
Of information. I'm not going to kick someone when they're at...
I mean, does he not seem like he's... like this still genuinely bothers him 2 years later? It seems like he's genuinely upset about it still. Like, let it go, man. Let it go.
Absolutely down. And like I've mentioned, okay, if I haven't mentioned it already, it takes serious balls to run a convention like this, or a festival. Even if this wasn't a success in my barometer, at least it actually happened. Regardless of what anybody wants to say about Glink, the actual event happened, which means it's better than all the other YouTuber events that didn't, you know?
I think a statement like this is almost worse than a flat-out lie, because it's so disingenuous, and it disarms people who might have normally had a critical eye and who might have been listening critically. You know, I had YouTuber friends and other personal friends start watching the video and be like, wow, he's really tearing into you here. And then they get to this point and they just message me like, oh, actually, it's not too bad. You know, he kind of gave you some props at the end, and, you know, it's not bad. Great. What?
Did your friends really say that? Just because Mutahar said, well, the event did actually happen, that made them think, oh, you know what, he's not being mean to you. I don't know, those people were really your friends, if that's all it took for them to be like, oh no, he's being fair to Glink.
What?
He's being 50% critical, 50% complimentary.
Value does that have when the takeaway most viewers have who don't know me, who don't care to hear out the nuanced details, is going to be that this is a fake event, fake, you know, disaster, all that stuff. It's just going to damage my reputation, defame me to the majority of viewers, while again...
Fame you? Wow. Defamation's happening here. I didn't realize.
Somewhat disarming and misdirecting people who might have given an actual critique towards Ordinary Gamers, but because he's throwing me some bones, you know, oh, it's okay, he's throwing you some bones. Yeah, just completely disingenuous.
Preface for the privacy...
I'm convinced now. He's still full on mad. He is still mad about this video.
of the whistleblowers, I'm blurring out dates and names to prevent any trace of who leaked what, okay?
Okay, then Ordinary Gamers goes on this harebrained tangent about this birthday invitation that me and Kino Corner wrote up as a joke, basically sending out to some YouTuber friends we knew. So
okay, the as a joke defense. Okay, You are hereby formally invited to the Kino Film Festival Birthday Bash 2022. On June 27th to 29th, you and other respected creators are welcome to join us for a time of fun, festivities, and nothing effing gay. Following the shenanigans of KidCon, Glink and I have decided to run our own little event with only the cool creators, you, and in the best city around, not LA. Our home in Austin, Texas will serve as the meeting place for the multi-day Hangout Fest. What can you actually do in Anaheim? Drink? We can drink here, and there's a lot more to do. It's kind of a weird message. It's how you're inviting people. Like, I would probably pass on that invitation too.
So it really has.
And maybe talk about other people. Ask them, did you get that message? That was kind of weird, wasn't it? Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Has nothing to do with Lightwave at all. For the rest of the video, Ordinary Gamers goes on to attack me personally as some sort of drug abuser, even though none of the references I've made about psychedelics have any relation to Lightwave and the planning of it.
Greg's psychedelic history has been building up in the last few months, where he's created.
Yeah, sure. Maybe it didn't have anything to do directly with the event, but around this time you were very clearly like getting into the psychedelics, and you seemed like one of those people who tripped and thought they figured out life and had this fully unique perspective that you had to share with everybody. That was very much the perception that I had of what was going on with Glink at the time. So, sure, maybe it didn't have anything to do directly with the festival, but you are tied to this festival, Glink, so it makes sense that this will be brought up, especially if Mutahar thinks that you doing this sort of stuff contributes to how you ran the festival, even if there's not actually anything to do with psychedelics at the festival or the event.
Such bangers like 10 Steps to Having a Good Trip, Ego Tripping at the River of Life. This is your brain on psychedelics. Now, I want to stop here and say that I don't share the same beliefs of psychedelics or drugs in general. I try to keep that stuff to an absolute minimum. I like living my life lucid and not under the influence of anything at all.
What is all of this? What is all that? G fuel? Gamer fuel? All right. I mean, wait, is this more gamer fuel back here too? I think it is. I mean, that's a lot of gamer fuel for somebody who doesn't believe in substances, mind-altering substances, all right? I know people think caffeine is whatever. It's very, very normalized, but it is still a mind-altering substance, and that is an absurd amount of gamer fuel.
By this point in the night, I was doing shots with the boys, and I was plastered so hard off my ass, so honestly, I couldn't even begin to tell you anything past that. You gotta ask Prox or somebody who actually was at the convention. Look, it's a long...
Alright, I'll give you points for this, Glink. It is hypocritical that he's saying, oh, I try to stay away from drugs, but he was getting sloshed. I think that was what he said at the beginning. Sloshed, and the gamer fuel. So, okay, some hypocrisy points. Sure, I'll give you one of those.
Stream, I'm not gonna be there for the whole few hours, okay?
The biggest blunder of the event, if you could even call it that, was just...
Oh, shoot. I hope Glink doesn't see this, though, because if he hears me say that, he's going to say, oh, it's completely disingenuous. You shredded me the whole video and then just gave one disingenuous positive comment, and then all my friends texted me and said, hey, this guy's really fair to you.
The lack of attendance in person, and I equate that to me not managing the budget properly. If I were to go back, I would have probably used a good amount of the budget to advertise on Instagram, on social media, that we would be hosting this free event in town. Instead, I did kind of waste some time and energy making these posters, putting them around town, not really accomplishing much. So that was the one thing. Like, if more people showed up in person, which would not have been hard, we had an open bar, we had, it was free to attend, it was in a central location. It's just, I was one person managing the bookings, managing the planning, the branding, all this different stuff for the event, and I just wasn't at 100% capacity when it came to the actual advertising and get.
Seems like if you got 25 grand for free from your buddy, you maybe could have hired one other person to help you out. Probably would have gone a long way to have one extra hand.
getting people to show up in person. But you know, it's been 2 years, and there are many clips from Lightwave that have tens of thousands of views, like the one I mentioned of Rossman and Curtis Yarvin, but also clips from different panels of the artists of Negative XP, of Negative XP's performance. You know, many people enjoy these videos and got something out of it, and that to me is more meaningful than any amount of negative press or hit pieces coming from big YouTube channels like Ordinary Gamers. The first mistake Ordinary Gamers
Do you call him a hit piece channel?
that to me is more meaningful than any amount of negative press or hit pieces coming from big YouTube channels like Ordinary Gamers.
Okay, no, I combined the words in my head there. But he is sticking by this is a hit piece. Which, I mean, if you're being if you're expecting this to be the fake disaster or whatever, then maybe this just seems like a pretty fair retelling of the event so far. You haven't had very strong points pushing back against the stuff that he said, Glink. I don't know. I think the title and thumbnail is pretty fair, even if it's hyperbolic or overdramatic.
First mistake Ordinary Gamers made was calling me a YouTuber, was assuming I identify as a YouTuber. I don't identify as a YouTuber, and I'm not a YouTuber because what do they do? What do YouTubers do? This is the end. This is the peak YouTuber. It's sit at your chair, churn out videos that are going to get clicks, get views, get on people's autoplay, insert some advertisements, and just stuff as much content as you can down the tubes, and hope your viewers are ready to consume as much of it as possible. That's
Okay, all right, Glink. You don't have to be a YouTuber, just a person who uploads somewhat regularly to YouTube. Very meaningful
the
distinction.
life of a tuber. And that's not what my channel is. That's not what I'm about. That's not what Lightwave is about. So I hope I've made it clear that from the start of his coverage of Lightwave, Ordinary Gamers never set out to make an objective report. He was biased. He was calling it a disaster. And nothing throughout his video really substantiates his claims that it was a fake festival or that it was a disaster. And he just presents a lot of speculation, frankly. So out of that, an interesting question arises.
Thank you for just slurping straight into my ears. That added a lot to the video.
Why then did he feel the need to make this video? There's a lot I could speculate about, but just to give you the raw information, my history of interactions with Ordinary Gamers was mostly limited to a few messages on Discord and Twitter. And in October of 2021, some tubers got together and met in Anaheim right after COVID and all.
Okay, but you're not a YouTuber, right? Why are you just calling these people YouTubers like that? That's messed up, man.
All that. Ordinary Gamers over here, he was throwing a house party. As soon as I show up, it seems like people are drinking. I go to use the restroom, and there's a guy just passed out, sleeping next to the toilet. So he wasn't kidding. He likes to get sloshed with his boys, and that's how they do it. And I didn't really talk to Mutahar much at the party. I just like maybe a couple sentences. There was no tension, no arguments. So honestly, it really doesn't explain why he would have felt the need to make this hit piece on me, but maybe
because he saw and heard about it and thought it would make an entertaining video, right? Why does he need to hate you to make a video critical of you? I don't hate you, Glink, just because I'm making a video critical of you. Just, I thought, oh, I can maybe make content out of this. So, I'm going for it. I would imagine Mutahar's motivations were pretty similar to that.
it's because he views me as competition, and I look like a vaguely ethnic, brown guy. Maybe it's because he's Pakistani and I'm Armenian. He saw that I was taking some risks with my channel. He saw that some people were confused, and hey, he took that opportunity to muddy the waters a bit.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. He just wanted to take down an ethnic person that he was competitive with. Probably it.
I mean, he probably just saw it as a quick opportunity to stab and twist the knife on someone who was in a weird spot. So I hope you got something.
I mean, just listen to how he portrays this. This is wild. Again, I'll just say, let it go, man. Really, you gotta let it go. This is insane that you have this strong of feelings about this guy making a video about you. That's, I mean, it did seem like he pretty much just described what happened. You know, you characterized this as a very malicious, evil hit piece or whatever, but the points that you said he was wrong on and pushed back against were pretty minor. Is there anything in here that Mutahar said about your event that just was straight untrue? Any meaningful points that were just completely wrong?
Like a vaguely ethnic, brown guy. There was no tension, no arguments. So honestly, it really doesn't explain why he would have felt the need to make this hit piece on me, but maybe it's because he views me as competition and I look like a vaguely ethnic, brown guy. Maybe it's because he's Pakistani and I'm Armenian. He saw that I was taking some risks with my channel. He saw that some people were confused and, hey, he took that opportunity to muddy the waters a bit. Yeah, I mean, he probably just saw it as a quick opportunity to stab and twist the knife on someone who was in a weird spot. So I hope you got something out of it.
I really would be surprised if it was anything more than he thought he could make a video out of it that might get decent views. I would guess that that's what his motivation was. I really don't think there was anything nefarious going into it. I don't think he saw you as competition. I don't think he wanted to hurt you. I think he just saw something that he was interested enough to talk about that he thought could get views, and so he made a video about it. Okay, here we go. This I want to know. Why does this matter so much later, man? Why are you still so bent out of shape about it? Oh, perfect. Thank you for slurping into my ears again. I really appreciate that. It's an edited video. No, you could just not include that part.
So why does all this matter now, 2 years later? Well, I know that some YouTubers make it their whole livelihood to report on the latest drama, the latest story, day in and day out, all these scandals.
And that's disgusting. I can't believe there are people who do that with their channels. I mean, it's absolutely reprehensible.
But if we just forget about them as quickly as they appear and we learn nothing from all these scandals and stories, then what is the point? Is there a point? Does the truth matter? I believe it does. I believe there is a point to holding people accountable. And, if Mutahar's YouTuber friends aren't going to do it and they don't care, well, this is my version of accountability. And you know what? It's not just me sitting here talking to the mic. It's me sitting here spitting into the mic.
Because now it's time to burrow, twist the knife in.
Y'all might want to dust off your vessies, because this shit's about to get messy.
So is he going to give any actual reasons for why he's doing this now, or is it just diss track?
Kid Kong, walk around feeling like King Kong, surrounded by juvenile TikTok. You want to bury and twist the knife, but you don't want smoke with Rossman, right?
A day of drinking, a night of getting sloshed. What an awesome night. That was your boy passed out in the bathroom, right? Bro was having a sleepover. Muta didn't get some of his facts right. Muta didn't get some of his facts right. He must have made that video during the hangover.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for this repository of information coming to you live straight from the capital of masturbation, Mutahar's room. Mutahar's room. Yeah, he's come so far, but he sits upon a throne of lies and advertisements. Some ordinary gamer. Does it get any blame?
I feel like he couldn't decide if he wanted to make it like a rap song diss track or spoken word. It seems like he's like slipping between the two. It sounds very stilted.
Mama chaser, you're a faker. Let's face the truth, your channel is nothing more than a clickbait maker.
Hey, Muta, you notice you're getting a little older? Those kids from VidCon stay the same age. Wait, kids, watch out. There's this big hairy man named Mutahar. You can't ignore his smell. He's moving through the halls. Just run.
You can't ignore his smell? What? Is that, I'm assuming that, or maybe there's something more to it, but that just seems like an Indian stereotype, Glink. I mean, that's messed up.
No way, please. You don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. Mutahar, you don't want the smoke. No. You don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke.
Also, you waited 2 years to respond. It seems like you don't want the smoke. What?
Mutahar, you don't want the smoke. Muda doesn't get his facts right. Muda doesn't get his story right. Muda doesn't know his shit. Muda just wants to talk. Muda doesn't get his facts right. Muda doesn't get his story right. Muda doesn't know his shit. Muda just wants to talk shit.
Someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. That's no good.
I was doing shots with the bowl.
Stay away from liquor, kids. Like all drugs, alcohol is dangerous.
I spent so much time thinking about.
Okay, so that was all that he had for why he's doing this 2 years later. And really, the only thing of substance in there was that Muda didn't get his facts straight. Or Muda didn't get his facts right. I can't, something like that. Whatever it was. Muda got something minorly wrong in his video. So I had to respond 2 years later.
About how you wronged me. Built up my name to reclaim some fame. But in the end, I became the same ego I wanted to blame. Mutahar, you are the part of me that I hate, but I no longer have room in my heart for hate. So I let it go, move on, find something new to create. Maybe I could learn to love my channel again. Maybe YouTube doesn't have to be this way forever. This channel is an outlet for my personal expression. I am me. YouTube is still worth uploading to. My channel is still worth posting to. My life is worth living.
Is that any question? Because of Mutahar's video? You were questioning whether your life was worth living because Mutahar just did like a 40-minute summary of your event being kind of weird and not that successful.
My channel is still worth posting to. My life is worth living.
Congratulations. 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 That was good. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, all of you.
Well, that was so much weirder than I remember it being. I'm glad I came back to this. I wasn't sure if I'd bother covering it after I messed up the first recording, but yeah, that was kind of a wild ride. So, I mean, it really does not seem like it was worth making this video. 2 years later, you need to have something stronger than I disagree with Mutahar's characterization of my event. I mean, that's pretty much what I came away with. You said Muta didn't get his facts straight, but you really didn't push back on anything meaningful in any sort of significant way. It seems like, yeah, sure, there were little tiny bits and pieces that maybe he didn't get exactly right. I just don't see how any of that justifies carrying these feelings with you for years and 2 years after Mutahar's video responding to it. I've said it many times at this point, but I don't know what else to say other than let it go, man. Genuinely let it go. It seemed like maybe that skit you were doing at the end was you saying that's what you were doing. So if that's the case, good for you. And, just try to get back into the swing of uploading. And I don't think that your channel is beyond repair or anything like that. I think you could get back into the swing of it. How long ago was that video that did 200K views? 5 months ago? That's not great. But I mean, I think you stick to this sort of stuff. The internet is dead and IRL is cool again. That's kind of in line with the stuff that he used to do, and that got pretty good viewership. Just stick to it. I don't know, but definitely do not get stuck on just some random guy on YouTube making a video about you that 600,000 people watch. Like, I get that's a lot. And I've never had somebody get 600,000 views on a video talking about me, all right? So I'm not going to act like I can relate to that entirely. But I have had a 500,000 sub YouTuber, D-Sigs, attack me. I've had the most evil drama streamer on the website, Chud Logic, attack me. I'm still here. I'm still fine. I'm still posting. All right, just I don't know. If you're gonna do the YouTube stuff, I feel like you got to be able to roll with the punches a little bit better than that, and just let it go.